you know, the smell of McDonald's, you know? No? Becca knows. The smell of McDonald's, like fried things. So that's how it smells. Good thing I like fried things. So it's okay. So it will stay until the 27th, and then it will go. It will go. I'll try to distribute it. I don't know whom I'm going to get hold of in Corona times, but anyway, then there's always the birds, you know, that they will like it. Israel, I'm not sure. Maybe your mic is on and it sounds a bit like strange. Camera is not on, but I don't know. Can you also hear it, Tom? Like it goes like.
תום, אתה יכול להשתיק את כולנו, יש מישהו שלא מושתק, אתה יכול להשתיק את כולנו וזהו.
כן, אין בעיה, אני...
Yeah, not yet. I mean, people can still say hello and how are you and all this. They don't need to close it right now, I don't know. But sometimes some people's microphones are creating a bit of a problem. Sometimes I don't know why this is. Okay. So Tom, is your turn or is my turn?
It's my turn. Sorry, I was dealing with some troubleshooting here. So yeah, I'll start with my usual bit and then we'll go off.
Okay.
אוקיי, אז שוב ברוכות הבאים על השיעור של אנילה בנושא הסובלנות מתוך הספר של שנטי דבה, המדריך לחיית בודיסטווה. שוב אנחנו נפגשים כאן כמו כל שבוע וכיף לראות שאתם ואתם מגיעים כאן מתמידים ואני מצפה שיהיה לנו הערב מעניין כמו תמיד. וזהו, העליתי את הכישורים שאני בדרך כלל מעלה עבור נתינת דנה וקישור לעמוד היוטיוב שלנו ולאתר של ידידי הדרמה. יש הרבה מאוד אירועים שקורים עכשיו. גלן סוונסון נמצא בביקור וירטואלי בישראל, אז יש הרבה מאוד רציטים וירטואליים ומפגשים שהוא מעביר, וזה מעולה. אז מוזמנים ומוזמנות לבדוק את זה בכישורים ששלחתי. וזהו, אז נתחיל. Thank you very, very much, Anila, for coming this week again. And we are looking forward to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Thank you, everybody, for listening to me. It's very kind. Shall we start with a short, like kind of calming the mind, relaxing, getting into the present, feeling good about ourselves kind of thing? Yeah, shall we do that? So we'll do it for a few minutes. It's always very good to take whatever time you have to do that. You know, as Mingyur Rinpoche says, you can meditate at any moment. You don't need to sit down. You don't need to do anything, but it's just to to bring the mind to the present and to know and to be aware of what's going on. So this is what we are training. So if you have thoughts and you are aware that you have a lot of thoughts, then you are meditating. If you take your breath, breathing in, breathing out, then and you know when you breathe in that you breathe in, and you know when you breathe out that you breathe out, you're meditating. When you have a pain in the wherever in the body, and you know there is an unpleasant sensation, you are meditating. But when you get lost in thoughts and start to make all kinds of stories or start to comment on, you know, when you start to comment on what's going on, start to have opinions, then you are not aware anymore of what is going on. You are, you're lost. Unless, I mean, of course, you know, we can use thoughts to examine what's going on, of course. But then as we know, and maybe it's good to also to observe that, it's very interesting to see how maybe there is a pain in the knee, and then there's maybe one or 1.5 thoughts about the pain in the knee, but then the mind goes off somewhere totally different. So sometimes it's quite interesting to trace back. All of a sudden, you can, okay, totally lost in thought. And then you try to trace back where it started. And you see how the mind really jumps from, in French, they say, du coq à l'âne. I don't know if in Israel you have this feeling, this saying, I don't know where it comes from. It kind of jumps from the rooster to the donkey. So it's like, so it's also, that can also be, being aware, knowing, studying, how the mind is creating stories, and now we get lost in them. And then how, when we have these stories, how then that kind of colors our perception of reality. Yeah, then, we see somebody and we're not even aware of it. They say, I think in neuroscience, they say, your mind makes an opinion about somebody. What do you think? In how long when you see somebody? One what, Tom?
1 second.
Yeah, it's even shorter than 1 second. I can't remember how many milliseconds, but this is how quickly our brain, so maybe not just the mind, it's more the brain, with all the, all these levels of opinions and experiences that we had, and not just from this life, but from all other lives as well, is immediately kind of creating an opinion about a person. And then we act as if this person is really that person, and it's not fresh. It's quite interesting to see when you meet people only once every 5 years or something like that. And at one point it happened to me in India. I was helping in a social project, and I left, and then I came back maybe 2 years later, and I'd forgotten that I had a fight with one of the workers. I had totally forgotten. So I was approaching her totally open, and she was so surprised that I was so open that she actually asked me, "What, don't you remember what happened when you left?" I said, "No, why? What happened?" So it would be so nice, if we could meet everybody, because it happened 2 years ago. It was a stupid fight about how to do things, or I think they were stealing things. But anyway, it was like, a bit unpleasant thing, but I'd totally forgotten. So, but then of course she tells me, and then it comes back. So that shows us, so that shows us about the emptiness of things, the voidness of things, that things are not what they seem to be. We are actually creating them. Yeah, so like that. So where was this? It's the same person. So the unpleasant feeling that I didn't have because I had forgotten about the fight that happened 2 years ago is gone. But the same person, when I remember what happened 2 years ago, it comes back, this kind of uneasiness. And then we think that this is normal. It feels like normal because it happens very quickly, but it's not normal. It's like totally not logical. Yeah. And this, what is creating these emotions is our seemingly self-existent, autonomous and permanent I, me, or self, who doesn't change. Yeah, your feeling, your sensation of I or me is always the same. So then, of course, that one can't let go. That one doesn't see. Impermanence and how things change. That one doesn't even give it the chance that things could change. So in order to be able to recognize all this, it is good to have a stable and clear mind. And the first step is to relax. The first step is to, as Mingyur Rinpoche says, to give the mind a job. So the first job is to be aware of your body. And for that, you can close your eyes. That's quite helpful. And just feel the body, experience the body. What's going on in there? Yeah. And then with the out breath, to totally relax it. Oh, I just see we have another Venerable on the Zoom. Hello, Venerable Zuppa. Nice to see you. Okay, so again, you come back to your own body, not to mine or to Zuppa's body. experience it, and without any try, when I say without any opinions, of course the mind immediately makes opinions, it's okay. But the moment we don't follow them, at one point they will also subside a little bit. And you will see, if you go through the trouble of really going bit by bit through the body and relaxing all the parts with your out breath, after a while, when you are meditating and you're lost in thoughts, but then you become aware of it, what's going on, immediately the body relaxes. So it's really worthwhile to train the body to automatically sense, without having to think about it so much, sense tensions, especially in your face. And then to release them, because tensions, can create a lot of problems in the future. When we release them, at least the body tensions, then also the mind has a good chance to feel better, to be more spacious, to be more relaxed. And you can really use your out breath to do that. And so we do that about 10 minutes. Object you choose, either your in and out breath, either just the body posture or the body sensations. Or, watching when you start to see the thoughts and you go, oh, how did I get there? This is also fine. We can do different things in this period. It doesn't always have to be just, shamatha. The main thing is that we train not to judge, not to go into good or bad, but to be a very neutral observer, like a scientist who is watching through the microscope, without any opinions. That's so difficult. But we try and give our best. And then before we start with looking at the verses, again, we check our motivation, why we want to study this text, really knowing the purpose, why Shantideva wrote this text. It is for people who want to be able to live their potential of the good heart, wisdom, compassion, having skillful means to be able to help all other sentient beings, not just the ones that we choose. And in order to be able to do that, we need to attain also full awakening, which means we need to liberate ourselves from being under the control of our negative emotions, like aversion, attachment, wrong views, anger, jealousy, arrogance, miserliness, these kind of things. Everything that distorts, like all the emotions that distort. So we have to liberate ourselves to be under the control of those, so that we're not creating negative karma, so that we are reborn in a kind of existence that we can kind of continue with this path, which is not easy. It's a very high goal. So then you, from your own side, you check what is my motivation, and then according to this, you take whatever you find helpful in these verses. Whatever you kind of have aversion towards, or whatever you find, oh, no, I don't want to do this, that's fine. It's your own choice. That's why it's very important to know what we want when we study these kind of texts, and also see the purpose of them. Otherwise, instead of being helpful, they can be harmful. And then, we kind of finished the meditation with what the homework was, in case you forgot about it, and now you can start to experience it. You think about the qualities that you have. One is enough, one thing, one quality you have that you're really good at. And you try to experience, you try to feel, how is it to live that quality, to use it? And to understand we have the potential that if our wrong use of an inherently existing I or self is, if we have recognized directly that this I does not exist the way that it appears, when that is not there, and we have moments when we are not reacting out of that space of self-centeredness, when these qualities shine through, when we can act, with this quality as the engine, as the motor for our response. So in general, when we talk about nervous system, then we have reactions like brain and nervous systems. We have reactions that come from the reptile brain, and we have responses that come from the cortex, where we can take reason, where we can think. So think about your good sides. Don't dwell in your bad sides. There's no point. We know them. We don't need to go and plunge into them all the time. And then think, may I develop these qualities further? Or the ones that you already have, think, may I be able to live them all the time, spontaneously, uninterruptedly, and effortlessly? This is why I'm studying this text, for example. This is why I sit down and meditate. Because I want to, as much as possible, to be of benefit to others. The good person that I am, again, just think, I am a good person. That's my nature, but sometimes I'm not able to live it. So may I be able to live this spontaneously, uninterruptedly, and effortlessly. But by nature, I am a good person. That is my nature. That would be normal. That would be natural. And then if you have problems in believing in that, then just check, take your cortex, take the response, not the reaction. And just think, what can I lose to believe in my own goodness? What can I lose? And what can I gain? Okay. So how was your week? Did you do the homework? Kind of constantly going around and praising yourself, not saying to other people, but to yourself. Yeah, looking at yourself in the mirror and say, in a very friendly way, the same way you would greet your most beloved one. Hello, my dear, how are you? Good morning. You're so wonderful. I love you so much. Did you do it, Tom?
Well, I didn't remember to do it on purpose.
Yeah.
But I remember one time that I found myself comforting a friend, and where not usually, but many times I'm a bit, I don't have much, how to say, patience to hear and to be there. And sometimes I can get really distant. And this time, for some reason, I found myself thinking, well, now I'm going to listen. Now I'm going to really pay attention and just be there, not trying to fix everything, not trying to do something to be the hero or something. And it worked.
Yeah.
And when I saw that it worked, and she was very grateful for that, I found myself saying to myself, well, look, that now how wonderful can it be when I do it like that? I was happy about myself that I was able to do it.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a very good example. It's important also to see these moments. You see, the problem is when we make mistakes or when we, no success and all this, that we keep, that we remember. But then the good things, it was somehow we need to make special effort to remember these good things. But the more you are relaxed, and you can train the mind to see the good things. Perception is a training. It's nothing, it doesn't, not much to do with what's going on outside. So we can train the mind to see the good things, and then it goes effortlessly. Yeah, and then it gets, then the habit becomes like when we see, if I react like this, or if I do like this, then that's the effect. Then also we have more interest to invest some time in developing the mind, because we all want to be happy and nobody wants to suffer. Did anybody else do the homework? Did anybody do the homework? It's okay if you didn't, Sigal, you did? Yeah, do you want to tell us what happened, or you can also keep it private. This is okay,
I can say that there were a few junctions where I could decide if I want to get angry or not, if I want to get offended or not. And when I did something good and I felt I did something good, I chose the right thing to do, like not getting angry, just expressing myself. I was really proud of myself.
Good. It's good.
Yeah.
You know, it's not arrogant to have a good feeling about yourself if you don't compare yourself with others. Only when you start to compare yourself with others, it becomes arrogance. But a good feeling about ourselves, which is not depending on whether we succeed or not, we're trying to do these things that make us happy when we're able to do them. It's good enough. So this is what we have to learn also, good enough, because then we relax and then we become much better people. Did anybody see His Holiness this morning talking to the Indian police? It was nice, wasn't it? So I'll show you a small part of it, so that maybe your question about, there's so many questions, but what about when people are like this and this and this and this? I have to get angry and I need to get angry. So that question came again and again and again. And I was really surprised also at the beginning, like this chief of police, he was saying, we have a problem in the police, that the police is too violent and they lose, people lose faith and people lose trust in them. I mean, they never had it, because the Indian police is quite, if you're poor, if you're not somebody of money or good looks, don't even help. It's like money or status. You have no chance, I mean, yeah, I'm not going to tell you these horrible stories, but then it was interesting. I don't know if Elisheva, you noticed, it was interesting how His Holiness was only kind of pointing out the good sides of the police, the good things that they're doing, in order for them to get away also. I think they themselves have this image of themselves of being horrible people. So he was constantly saying that, yeah, but you are, you're defending democracy. And anyway, I'll show you His Holiness and then you can, it's quite short.
But he said that sometimes you need to be tough also.
Yeah, this is what, wait. Let everybody listen to what His Holiness said. Exactly. And then you listen to the question and then we listen to one answer. Is that okay with you guys? So I need to open my thing and this and this and that.
It is
Can you see and
questions
hear?
and
Just can
answers.
you note if you can.
The first question is from Sri Tajinder Singh Luthra, IGP Chandigarh.
I would like to make it.
Over to you,
but I
Tajinder.
can't.
Thank you very much, sir, for giving me this opportunity. Your Holy Highness, I'm really grateful to you for giving me this opportunity of asking a question to you. Your Holy Highness, my question is that in police, I'm a police officer. In police, the general perception is that if you show empathy and compassion, you are considered a weak or soft person. Rather, in police, we want to be macho and muscular. And in this culture, we become impersonal, we become emotionless, and we become rigid. And all this we do in the name of rules. So, Your Holy Highness, my question is, how should we dispel this perception that by adopting values of empathy and compassion, you will not be considered a weak person or a soft person? This is my question, Your Holy Highness.
More sort of rigid method is a method. Whether that something negative or not.
Oh, sorry, I made it big, but
It's entirely dependent on motivation. Taking care of the larger people and the principle, then the method sometimes a little bit was restricted. Harsh method. Yes, you see, no problem. Like I think you may see in a Tibetan the tradition, many different form of deities. Some are very wrathful, but is all, you see, the expression of compassion. To people who need a little restriction, then you see more, how should they, wrathful action, wrathful deities, like that. So therefore, you see, as a police, under certain circumstances, you need a little harsh method, strict method, with sincere motivation and the protection of larger interest. So there's no problem, no contradiction. Okay. Any action, whether something negative or positive, it's entirely depend on motivation and goal. So therefore, you see, there is no, how to say, the contradiction. The police force, and under certain circumstances, a little bit, how to say, the harsh method, there's no problem. Okay.
Okay. So, again, we come to this question. It sounds to me sometimes, but am I allowed to get angry or whatever? Now, for me, the question is, he is talking to police. Now, the question is, are we police? Has somebody told us to go around and tell people how they should behave and what they should do? Or are we kind of self-elected police people? Question to you guys. Where does this thing come from that we think that we have to tell not everybody, but many people how they should behave? I mean, the police, they have a job. Yeah. And then again, as he said, it's like, if you think it's necessary, like, for example, if you have an alcoholic father or mother, I mean, and they just keep drinking, I mean, you can definitely try to use a harsh method and shout at them, but your motivation is in order to protect them, isn't it? But still, still he also points out for the greater good, like you are being harsh with a few individuals so that many, many other people are protected as a policeman. So when we are getting angry at somebody in order to stop them or whatever, then it's very often it's just self-concern, isn't it? We're not so much, except for when it's your parents or your children or your friends sometimes even. But when we're not concerned about the people, when we're not attached to them, we're not really, so careful with how we say it and what we say. And we are in a blackout in Maalot, so no video on Izopa. Oh, wow. Okay. Because of the cold? Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, I heard it's very cold in Israel. Anyway, so this is it, and then again, what we call anger is not always anger. This is the thing. This is what you have to understand. And your own mind only knows whether it is anger, which is a wish to harm, or at least doesn't care about the feelings of the other that you're talking to or that you're doing things, or if it's genuine concern and you're just using a harsh method. Yeah. And I think, if you, how to say, I think if you remember moments, or if you are really aware when somebody with anger is kind of trying to correct you, anger of good parenting attitude. Yeah. Because you do it. But again, if the parent is very angry all the time and for every small thing reacts with anger, it's not really educating the kids. The kids then they start to be afraid and they start to hide. They're trying to cover up what they did because they don't like anger. And so this is what I'm saying. So sometimes it's really good to change the whole thing around. You made a mistake, or you were unpleasant, and we have tendency to put the fault on the other, but then somebody gets angry at us to show us, but it's your fault. How do you feel? How do you feel? And don't answer me now, because now, when the whole thing is finished, we go like, oh, it's okay. And it was quite helpful because I really had to see something that I didn't see. Now, yes, because you worked with it. But right in the moment, how do you feel? Yeah. So maybe maybe that will be the homework. How do you feel when somebody actually shouts at you and is angry at you, or shows you cold anger, kind of not talking to you? Do we find this very helpful? Yes, Tom.
I would like to ask something, to share something that happened to me this week, and it's related to what you are talking about now.
Mm-hmm.
I recently tried to think how I can help, how I can do something for the greater good in the sense of climate change.
Okay.
And I noticed that the Israeli meteorological service, like the governmental service from Georgia, is not really talking about it. It's not really addressing this issue in a way that is accessible and that is has anything meaningful to say about that. So I was really thinking, how should I bring about changing this? And first I thought maybe I would write a post on Facebook, and I thought, but then I'll just be accusing and saying something that is not, like, who would listen to me? Or I thought that maybe I write a petition and make many people sign it, and then I send it to them. And again, I felt that it's all coming with a bit of a harsh and strong emotion on my part, because I was angry in a way. Why are they doing it like this? Why aren't they doing what I think they should do? And eventually I wrote them a letter, just personally. I wrote to the service. And well, they answered me in a very, very thin voice. Like, they said, well, it's not what you're saying. And they didn't really address what I was saying. They didn't really answer my complaint. They just said, we don't know what you want from us, in short. And now I'm confused, because I feel like I tried to do things in a very constructive way.
Yeah.
I wrote them a very long and it wasn't harsh what I was doing.
Yeah. Do you think they would have reacted in a more positive way if your letter would have been angry?
No,
Yeah. But you would have felt better about it, or what?
No, but I feel that wouldn't have worked. But what I did also didn't really do anything, and it's frustrating, because I would like them to take me seriously, and I'm not the only one who's saying that. Even other people are saying that as well.
Yeah.
And it's funny, because someone wrote about it in a newspaper, and then because they wrote about it in the newspaper, the meteorological service issued a response in the same newspaper, and that was actually very angry and sarcastic and condescending response. So I could see how an angry attitude brings an angry response, and that is not helpful. But
yeah, sometimes anger, and real anger, wanting to hurt and pointing out all the faults publicly and all this, I don't deny. Short term, it can have good results, but only short term. This is the thing, and it's not so much about the result. We will not be able to change the world as long as we can't change our own mind. We can try and we can do, and definitely we have to start with ourselves, before we start pointing the finger at others. And we can do our little bit, and then not feel like a friar if you're not putting on the heating when you see that your neighbor is putting on the heating and has the windows open, or I don't know what, this is it. Like, this whole thing about ethical conduct, it is so difficult to be ethical when people around you are not ethical, because you feel like the friar. You do. And people even say, but you're stupid. You know what you're doing. It has no effect because everybody else is not doing it. Why are you depriving yourself of pleasure and things and this and that? And then you just say, because for me, it feels right. Yeah. And it's not about results. It's about training our mind. It's not about training others. You know, these verses, they are for us to be applied, not for others. And it's not about, you know, when you behave like this, then you can control others and they do what you want them to do. This is a big mistake that we are making. But I think it's good that you write the letter to these people. And but wow, you know, so many people who could care, don't care, who have power, they misuse the power. It's like, it's difficult. That's what the Buddha is saying. This is samsara. Yeah. But definitely for climate change, I mean, all of us, the things we can do, we should do. And then also to recognize we're not always, you know, turning off the lights, or in the summer, the air condition when it doesn't have to be on, or now in the winter, the heating and like this. Yeah. But so again, it's not about results. It's about training our own mind. It's to see our reaction to the things and then see, how do I react to this? Do I respond to this in a reasonable way, or do I react to this? Yes, Leora.
I would like to share an experience that I had 2 days ago. I cannot understand. I really cannot understand what happened to my mind.
Okay.
Because normally I don't get angry. I hardly get angry. And 2 days ago, I was waiting for more than 2 weeks for two books to arrive with the person who delivers now the books. That we work in the group in Yodfat, and I waited. Then I got a message that he's going to come yesterday. And there was a telephone there on the message. So I called the person. I told him, there's no reception in my house. So when you get, please send me an SMS so I can work with you and make sure that you find me and to the books. I didn't get out of the house, and I was in my telephone all the time. And then I went out and I got a message that he couldn't find me. He will contact me later on. And I got so angry.
Oh.
And really, and I saw how I'm getting and how it is like boiling water.
Yeah.
And I saw it, and I saw that I don't want to stop it. I want to let it go.
Yeah.
The purpose was not educating anybody, not to make it things may change things. Just I wanted to express it.
Yeah, that's fine. Was the person there, or he wasn't there?
Hey, he wasn't here.
That's okay. You know.
He didn't make what I complained is because I found finally the person to complain to. It took also a long time that they answered the telephone. This person didn't make any effort to find me, because I did.
Yeah.
So I'm talking to this lady, and I tell her, you see, I'm really nervous. I'm really angry. I'm sorry. It's not your fault, but I like this. And then it finished.
Yeah.
I knew I didn't get any good results, but I didn't feel any bad results also.
Yeah. Well,
I was just wondering.
You didn't get, no, wait, Leora, you didn't get any bad results, like, you know, but you created imprints on your mind. So,
and then in my practice, I said, and they did the Bodhisattva purification.
Yeah, good.
I didn't feel it from the depth of my heart, because I didn't feel.
Yeah, I have moments like this also, don't worry. But it's not good. I don't enjoy them. I would like to be able to live without these moments of that. You see, because again, it's not logic. Like one person made a mistake and we give it so much importance. But all the other things that get delivered to your house, they seem to disappear. Do you see what I mean? So it's not logic. You know, we should be just as happy when things come. And then we can say, okay, when they don't come, we're getting angry. But no, we're kind of concentrating on that one person who doesn't do his job. And you open the tap in the morning and you think, wow, the water people are doing their job. The water is clean. You know, like your water heater works. You take a hot shower, you think, wow, they did their good job. I can have hot water. You eat your bread, you eat your whatever, butter or margarine or whatever you're eating, you drink your tea. And we think about all these people are doing their job properly. And then we put so much importance on one.
There's one good point about the whole story. A few hours later, just without thinking about it, I thought of this person. And I thought, wow, maybe he didn't feel well. Maybe he doesn't get a good salary. Maybe he's very tired and he would just give up and didn't try too much. So I had compassion for him. This is
good. And also, story. You know, you can see people who are not doing their job properly, they're unhappy people.
Yeah.
They are unhappy. I don't want to say they're lazy, but they're not capable of doing a proper job and they are not happy because they're not doing a proper job. So getting angry at them is not going to make them good workers, by the way. So.
No, this for sure.
But anyway, I understand what you're saying because I have moments like this. I just let it go. And then I usually go for a walk and then, you know, go somewhere where there's nobody and then go, blah, 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 blah. You know, it feels good. Yeah, it feels good to release this whole thing. And then after a while, I go like exactly what I just said. I said, gosh, look at you, you know, one thing went wrong and so many things went right today. And you are making such a big fuss about that one thing that went wrong. Yeah, but it's such a habit. For me, definitely. It's a really big habit. Okay, let's continue with the verses here. So we were having, you know, this verse 77, that if we practice patience, if we're kind, and if we become a source of joy for other beings. Because, you know, if that person would have been there and you would have shouted at him, I don't think he would have felt happier than, you know, than he was before, or even unhappier. He's probably used that people shout at him, and you can become immune to this also. Like children sometimes, when the parents are very angry all the time, they lock up and they become immune to the whole thing and they don't listen anymore. And then the parents wonder, like, why is my kid not listening to me? Okay. So that was verse 77 we did last time. So I told you to, you know, to concentrate on your qualities also. 78, it is said that others are made happy through being praised in this way. But if in this way you do not want them to have this happiness. So here again, it is like person A that you are pretty much neutral about is praising person B that you dislike. Yeah. And so what we need to see is that when we are praising somebody, we have a happy feeling. So person A, because we don't dislike him, would be okay. But that person B is getting the praise. This we cannot feel happiness about. So, but in this way, you do not want them to have this happiness. Person B that you dislike. Then since it makes them happy, you should cease giving wages and the like to your servants, but you would be adversely affected both in this and future lives. And this is what I'm saying. You know, it feels as if it has no effect, but it creates imprints and it creates habits. This is the problem. Yeah, with these moments of like exaggerated happiness. Yeah. So I hope you get the books at one point, my dear Leora. Yeah. You got them. Okay. Good. So Pema Chodron with this verse, she says, sometimes we are fed up with the talk of the benefits of patience. Like, you know, like exactly, we hear all these things and then it works for a while, but then, you know, the habits become stronger and then it feels uneasy, not to burst it out. And then like this, maybe I'll close again here so that we can see each other. at some level we accept it, yeah, that patience is a good thing, and this is how it's good to communicate with others. And if we want to help others, we need to have patience and not get angry and like this. But at the bottom of our hearts, we prefer the conventional logic that says, yes, but what about me? Where am I in this? Again, you know, if you don't feel that you are like this, then that's very good. Don't get angry. Just be very happy that you don't have these moments of anger like Leora had this morning or 2 days ago. Why shouldn't I be jealous when everyone else gets the credit? Like, you know, for Tom with the climate change, why should I not get angry when I put so much effort into kind of so that the temperature doesn't rise, or with the climate change, when I see that everybody else doesn't care, you know? Why should I not get jealous? For example, nobody ever praises me, but everybody else is getting the praise. Why shouldn't I feel excluded, lonely, or miserable when surrounded by strangers? The samsaric argument is that someone else gets happiness and I get nothing. Yeah, we forget moments when we have moments like this. We totally forget how many good things we have. So then if that's how we feel, Shantideva is asking, why wish somebody happiness at all? You know, why do we wish happiness for some and not for others? Because wishing for happiness for somebody that we like, it makes us happy. This is when you practice the 4 immeasurables. This is why you always take people that you like. This is why, you know, we did some reflections when we took a person that really cares about you, that really sees you, that takes you seriously. We took that person, and then we could feel how the heart opens and how it makes us happy. Yeah, when we have warm feelings or open heart towards somebody. So then he says, so, you know, why wish somebody happiness anyway, if you don't want to wish happiness to all of them? Okay, why bother paying wages and returning favors at all, just because people work for us or help us out? Why do something that pleases them? So why do we do things that pleases people? Why? Why do you buy presents? I got 2 wonderful parcels from Israel this very week. I was very happy. And when I wrote to the people that sent it to me, I said, I received the parcel, they were very happy. So that's it. We do favors to others because it makes us happy. But then we're very selective. Now, I'm not saying you should start sending parcels to all beings in the universe. I'm not saying that. But still, you know, why being so selective? Why only be happy about the praise of your children or grandchildren or your friends? Why not be happy when somebody, for example, praises that parcel bringer that didn't bring your parcels, to make him happier? Yeah, why do we? He doesn't deserve it, isn't it? That would be, I think that would be the argument. So not being patient is like not paying wages and not returning a favor. Generally speaking, this is going to make us very unpopular. As for our kleshas, being petty and jealous will not bring us satisfaction. No matter how we turn it, we lose. So here the next, you know, the beginning verses and also the next verses is all about praise. And, you know, it's so interesting to see our reaction when we hear somebody else is getting praise. Yeah. Everybody else, they're just people. They're like us. We also like to hear praise. And so why can we not be happy when somebody else is getting praise? So for example, you know, I understand that if somebody does a really bad job and is getting a lot of praise, that you will not be happy, especially if you had to pay for the job. I mean, this would be asking too much of us ordinary beings. But what about people we dislike getting praised for qualities they actually have. Then why are we not happy? Question to you.
I think sometimes, in some cases, we think that our perception or the bad quality that we perceive in that person is more defining this person than the good qualities that others see in him. So I can say something like, yeah, maybe it's true that he has a good quality, but that's obscuring the bad thing that he's always doing. So that is a more relevant thing to think about than the one little good thing that he sometimes do.
Exactly. And it's very difficult for us to praise something for a quality they have when we dislike somebody. One thing is we can't hear it. It makes us feel totally uneasy. We're definitely not happy about it. Even he or she has the quality, we get jealous. And the other thing is, if we would have to say it, gosh, in German, I think we say, we rather swallow the words. So it's like, it's almost impossible. So in order to train that a little bit, because again, the praise that we are giving, it should be realistic. Not praising somebody for something that they don't have. But if you are a bodhisattva, and if you do lojong, like mind training, where is Noah? Noah is there, like with Alon, you do a lot of the 8 verses. I think you know them backwards and forwards, isn't it? Huh? Probably. Okay, so in there, you are being you're being encouraged, and if you want to practice it, you train to give praise to people that normally you would never give praise. And then slowly, when you start doing this, you start to see the difference. So first we look at the difference when we criticize somebody, how do I feel? And then we start to look, how do I feel when I praise somebody happily? Yeah. And then we start to understand. And if we start, it's so much, again, it's not the purpose for you to keep friends by praising them all the time, totally in an unrealistic way. But we have to be kind of realistic also. It is not easy to keep friends, and certainly not with constant criticism. We are policing our friends, and we are trying to change them so that they behave the way we want them to behave. It's a little bit too much, isn't it? So whenever we see something that arouses criticism, we get angry, but then we can practice focusing on the positive. However, seeing positive things in unloved people creates jealousy. We want everyone to be fine, and realistic praise makes people happy the same way that it makes us happy. If we don't praise them, it's like an employer who doesn't pay them because we don't want them to be happy. Yeah. So as a bodhisattva, you really learn, you have to train. And, it then comes in chapter 8, where you have to equalize yourself with others and then put others' happiness before you. So already here, Shantideva is preparing the ground, especially with this praise thing, because you can't really say that not being praised or somebody else gets praised is like, it hurts you. Yeah, you hurt because you can't admit that the person has qualities, but it's not really harmful. But just to see how reluctant we are, we say, as a bodhisattva, you say, I will lead all sentient beings to peerless happiness. And then we can't even say that word, wow, this you did really well. Again, what kind of bodhisattva are we? What kind of training are we going through? So here again, don't forget, this is for people who are on the bodhisattva path. People who already maybe have seen the benefits of all this. Yeah, so this is why it's only chapter 6. Don't forget the chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, where one prepares to do these practices, one prepares the mind. Okay, so what about, what about praising your children? Are you dependent on praise? Okay, Tuma, I am on mobile data and I need flashlight. Yeah, you look like you've realized the rainbow body. Super. It looks quite amazing. So, yeah. So maybe that's the first step, So I do not want to do. Yeah, that's okay. You can turn off the camera. It's fine. I know you're there. I'm very happy that you're there. And if it takes too much battery, then just turn it off. It's fine.
Oh, yeah, I can turn off the video, but still be here.
Yeah, of course. That's fine.
Not really.
I still see you.
Not really. No, I have to turn everything. The computer is running.
I see. Okay.
Computer running.
Just do whatever is convenient for you at the moment, and then,
Right.
also knowing at one point the electricity will come back and use it for what is really needed. So it was nice to see you anyway.
The 2 hours, my neighbor said.
Oh, okay, great. So yeah, what about what about praise for children, or this question? Can we live without being told by others when we do something good? Or do we have enough self-compassion that even we don't succeed all the time, that we still love ourselves the same way we love our children? Imagine a situation, it's always the same, you must have heard the example before. You are inviting somebody for a meal and the person quite happily eats it, but it's not somebody who eats your food every day. I hope you're not expecting from them that they tell you every time how delicious it is, but it's a guest and you made special effort to make aloo paranta, let's say. So, and the person eats it with a lot of pleasure, but doesn't say anything. Can you resist asking the person, is it good? Do you like it? Can you resist that?
No.
No, eh?
No.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to, we see the person is taking 1, 2, the third one, but we still need verbal confirmation that that it's good. So give it to people, if it's realistic, then give it to them. Say, wow, very good, delicious, wonderful. Yeah, then everybody can relax and eat happily. But why are we so reluctant to give it to others? As Shantideva says, it's like not paying wages to your employees. Yeah, because also you pay wages to your employees, you should pay them happily because it makes them happy if you have people working for you. So are we dependent on praise? Yes or no? I think we are. So then we can start and learn to give, to affirm, to reaffirm people when they do good things. It makes us happy, it makes them happy. We will notice it. Yeah, we will notice it. And then it will be easier to keep friendships and have a harmonious relationship. That's not the purpose, okay? Don't forget, again, that's not the purpose. So, of course, there's always exceptions. Whatever I'm saying, you can come with a yes, but. Of course, that's true. But just try it out. Yes, Hadar.
Hi. I want to say something about it, or to ask maybe more, maybe. When I asked the teacher Tanzin Palmo, about it on the Zoom that we had a few weeks ago, I was asking, after we were talking about it in maybe Liora mentioned it in one of our meetings, and then we were talking about it in the meeting that you were not here. Some of us were here, about our feeling of enough, feeling of being satisfied of ourselves and what we need. So then I was asking, the question that I was sending was, how do I decrease the need to have feedback, not even, you know, good words, but even feedback or knowing that we are doing good, that we are promoting something, that we are giving, and not feeling that we have to be more and more and that we are not enough. And the answer that she answered me was, it seems that this person is not really happy with herself, and that she's not enough. She's not enough. She said happy and in peace with herself. So I said, of course, I didn't say it was all quiet, but I said to myself, of course, I'm not enough happy, or and that I have work, but we all do. We all the time.
This
And
is
maybe
why, you know, the people who put their camera on when I said, do you think we are dependent on praise? Everybody was nodding.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
So everybody was nodding. And so this is what the homework was all about, that you start to see your qualities and you start to honor them and you start to appreciate them, you know, and not like Leora with one person didn't do their job and, you know, and so many others are doing their job, maybe not directly, you know, people, electricity people or water people or people if in the supermarket kind of filling up the shelves and stuff, you know, we totally forget, you know. And also when you feel low about yourself, we used to do a tea meditation. When you make yourself a cup of tea, and before you drink it, you really look deeply into your tea and you try to find how many beings are involved. Yeah, right, mine also. How many beings are involved, you know, and the meditation lasted like 45 minutes. And I didn't even mention all the beings that were involved so that we can drink a cup of tea. And then I was just saying, when you look at this and you think about all these people, check, do you still feel lonely? Do you still feel low about yourself? So, but what you can do so we become less dependent is starting to praise others, not waiting for because praising others genuinely and honestly, it makes us happy.
Yeah, I do that all the time, but it helps. Yeah, she said we should also look at our good things and be,
of course,
you know, be.
This is how we started to talk today. That I said, you know, in the morning you look in the mirror, you should greet yourself the same way you greet your beloved one. You know, that you just spend a wonderful night with or something like that, you know, and the heart is still very open. Yeah. We're such good people, you know, you guys, come on, you're sitting here every Wednesday and you're listening to me. And I'm sure you're also listening to other teachers and you are trying. I mean, how can you not honor that? This is how unlogical we are. Yeah, this is what Chantide was saying.
Okay. I want to say to Tsunama Zopa, do I say your name right? That I admire.
Ani Zopa.
Zopa.
Ani Zopa.
Ani Zopa?
Yeah.
I admire you being here with this electricity off, and do you warm enough there? Do you?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah, because I'm always overly warm. So this is great.
Wow. So
I love it.
Yeah, usually you're too hot, isn't it? In general.
Yes.
Yeah, and also Ani Zerpa is living under very simple conditions, so she's quite tough, I have to say.
I've lived with
she's
blackouts.
Very courageous. Huh?
I've lived with many blackouts in India. So.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. I think you even lived in a house that had no electricity for a while, isn't it? Down there, the hill. You were living in that hut down there. There was
during the snowstorm, yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
So yeah, you get used to these things. But also Ani Zerpa is very courageous, actually, you know, living under these quite harsh and difficult conditions. So yeah.
I wanted to share.
As Shanti Deva says, nothing gets easier when you're used to it. Yes, Elisheva.
I'm going for quite a long time to the demonstration on the politics demonstration. So there are many policemen there, and as I'm getting there, I feel something strong against the policeman for a long time. But 2-3 months before, I saw a very nice officer who really take care for the people and was very polite. His name is Ben Goldberg. And I went to speak with him, and I told him that my son is also an officer, and he said, where is? And I told him, and he knows the place, and he said, oh, it's a very tough mission that he had. And from that day, every Saturday, I see him. He's a big one there. Hi, how are you? How is your son? How is? And every time I'm saying, oh, you are so polite and you are doing so good job. And in Tel Aviv, the demonstrations are not so violent like in Jerusalem. But still, my feeling is completely different now when I'm going there, because I'm going to him, speaking to him, and then I feel great.
Perfect. But it's good
and
to
I think that he is feeling also good.
It's very nice, Elisheva, what you're saying, because you can go to these demonstrations with a happy mind and still be present. Yeah. So that's very good. It's a very good example. Yeah. And then you're happy meeting him, this is it. You see, this is also, we put everybody in the same pot, and we're not making any distinctions. You're wearing a uniform already, boom, the label is there. And yeah, some policemen are very violent. And as this guy said, like you saw it this morning, every question was about how to be less violent. And His Holiness didn't really answer this, because he wants them to feel good about themselves so they can be less violent. Because when you feel low about yourself, and you have the occasion to be violent, you are violent if you have an untrained mind. This is what we're doing. We're trying to get out all the frustration and stuff. Yeah, so that was a nice example. Okay, shall we do another verse before we finish, maybe? The next one is easy to understand, I think, because it's exactly what we're doing. So when people describe my own good qualities, I want others to be happy too. So, when somebody praises me, I want others to be happy also about the praise that goes on my account, isn't it? It's like they should also be happy when somebody is praising me. Though, why should I be? No. But when they describe the good qualities of others, I do not wish to be happy myself. Yeah, that's how we are. So he's just, he's talking to himself. So he's just encouraging us to change that. That when I see that somebody's praising me, I want others to be happy. So when somebody else gets the praise, I'm also happy. Because you see, when somebody gets praised, that means they have qualities. So these qualities can then become my benefit, isn't it? Like, otherwise you have people like this guy who doesn't bring the books. He doesn't even try to find you. But when you have people around you that have qualities, you have all the reasons to be happy, because they will do their jobs properly, not for us, but for them. And also then at the end, we are the ones who benefit. So I don't know, do you want to do this as a homework? When you hear praise for somebody else, I think you already had it once. You try to be happy about this and say, good thing that this person has qualities, because when I need help, they will be able to help me. So you can take your selfishness in with it. Yeah. Because very often also when I dislike somebody and I want to, because you see, dislike makes me uneasy, and I don't want to go through the world with an uneasy mind, or uneasy mind, which then becomes an uneasy body. So very often thinking about the qualities sometimes too difficult, because I can't see them, because I don't want to see them. I don't want to admit that they have qualities, but to see how dependent on, where my dependency on them are to get the things I need, I want, or whatever. Yeah. To see what they're doing for me. This then also kind of, this is one of the methods in changing your mind, is to see the kindness of others towards me. Yeah, direct or indirect. And that really changes our mind also. Yeah. And also, you know, this whole thing when we feel low about ourselves and we don't feel so good and this and that, then it's really good to see what kind of needs did not get fulfilled and to go through them. I don't get respect, people don't appreciate me, they don't want to spend time with me, they only want to correct me all the time and tell me what I should do so I can be a happier person, but it makes me miserable when they are correcting me all the time, they're not stopping to correct me and so on. And then when we start to see, but we're all the same. I mean, the Dalai Lama keeps saying this, we are all the same. We're one humanity. We all want the same. And then we try to, in a realistic way, to fulfill the needs of others, that the same needs that I have, other people have. You'll see, it's almost magic. You become totally not nutniki anymore. The nutnik is finished. Yeah. So like this, you know, and you start to do it with people that you can do it, at least it's genuine, you know, don't fake. Fake is no good. It makes, because it's lying. So it doesn't make you happy. It doesn't make the other person happy. So don't, you know, look for things that are worthy to praise. So that's very good. That's a very good thing to do.
Can I say something about my thing about being dependent on praise?
Being what?
Dependent on praise.
Dependent on praise, yeah, sure. Go ahead.
I thought about it when Hadar was talking about her question to Jitsun Mafalmo, and I thought about that, how when I realize that I'm dependent on something, my first reaction is, so what can I do to be independent, to be non-dependent of it, so that I won't be dependent on others to praise me, or don't have to be dependent on circumstances or conditions. I can be totally on my own. This is my first reaction, and I think that this is, for me, I'm starting to realize that this is not a good. For me, it's not a good way to live. Also,
no, it's not. You're right.
Also with other things, not only praise, but say, I want to be dependent on my, I don't know, my electricity or my food. I want to make my own food in the garden, so I don't have to be. Sometimes I'm saying I want to be independent of, in the sense that I want to not to make so much garbage, or not to create so much other stuff that people have to clean after me. I want to be self-contained, but it's cutting me off from the world.
Of course, it makes you totally unconnected. We are dependent. We cannot be we're not independent. It's totally illusion. Your clothes, your food, where you live, even if you grow your own vegetables, I mean, you still need tools to do that. You know, you go and get some branches in the forest and then you're using them for your gardening. We forget that behind every object that we're using is many, many, many beings. And when we start to open up our heart and we start to understand that I'm not independent, you know, being independent doesn't make you a good person, makes you a horrible person. Arrogant, proud, disconnected, you get depressive, you know, because your good heart is missing, you know. But gratitude, when we start to see how dependent we are, this makes you, I'm not saying makes you not a good person, this makes us connect with our goodness. So the more dependent we are and we recognize it and we allow it, the happier we become. But yeah, we have this, especially Western people, we have this big thing. Oh, I don't want to be dependent. But if we see that actually recognizing that we are dependent, it makes us happy people. And then also with, I don't want praise or something like that. You know, it's okay to want praise, because why? Because it makes the other people happy, the other person happy, and it creates good positive karma for them. So it's okay. It's okay to receive praise. It's fine. Because the person who praises you, they're happy. And you want people happy.
That's a good point. So we should not be annoyed by our needing or not needing, but
No,
I want our wanting. Oof, that
exactly.
we want.
It's as the Dalai Lama says with the policeman and the attitude. You know, you change your attitude. Oh, how nice that this person can praise me so that they're happy. And then if the praise doesn't come, it's still okay. But when it comes, that you're happy. Yeah.
Yofi.
Yeah, very yofi. This is it's such a skillful way, you know, to still do exactly the same things, but then to change the attitude, to change the motivation. And this one, we can finish with this one also. Having generated the awakening mind through wishing all beings to be happy, why should I become angry if they find some happiness themselves? So this is for the Bodhisattva, the one who makes the promise to be of benefit to all sentient beings. And then we see that some beings, they are independent, kind of, you know, without me, they are finding happiness because they're getting praise, and then I get angry. It doesn't fit my motivation. So maybe this could be the homework again, to not just rejoice about your own good qualities and your happiness. Still, please do that in the morning. When you greet yourself, you see yourself in the mirror instead of going, "Wah," you know, try to find a good thing, you know, at least I don't know what with me, at least I don't have, I don't know, if it's something external, I don't know, you know, like all the signs of old age is coming. At least I can still talk, or I can still think, or whatever, you know, look at the good things. Train the mind to take in the good. Then you become more relaxed. And then, so like this. So then when you feel being jealous, or when you feel that you are getting unhappy when somebody else is happy, try to work with that. And just with the words, you know, how wonderful that these people find happiness, even if it's just simple happiness from pleasures, you know, to rejoice with the happiness, the good things of somebody else. That also, it has like a tremendous effect on us. It creates a lot of positive energy, a lot of positive karma, and it makes you happy without you having to make any effort. And again, you know, to see the effect, do it with people that you like. When you see that they're really happy, or do it with strangers. That's a very nice. It's also a very nice way of being happy, is when you walk through the streets and you see people that are well dressed and they're fit and they're healthy and all this. You look at them and you think, oh, how wonderful. At least, you know, they're well in that aspect or whatever. To rejoice with the goodness of others. Is that an okay homework?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then to see the effect. So again, don't go overboard. Don't manipulate anything. Don't fake anything. You know, just try to go easy with this, and do it first with people that you find it easy. Then you do it with strangers, and only then you do it with people that you feel jealous normally when you see that they are happy. Yeah, once you have the technique a little bit. Okay, so we send out some loving kindness before we finish. Again, thank you very much for listening to me. May it be of benefit somehow. I see that it does, you know, we start to see, again, you know, it's not how the other person reacts to us, it's more how our mind reacts to these methods. This is what we're looking at. So then try to finish with the feeling of good enough. You know, what we're doing here is good enough, instead of always finding what is wrong. What I understood is good enough. What I'm able to be, what I am able to do, and I'm able to practice out there in daily life is good enough. And then again, you know, may I be able to live my potential of happiness, of love, compassion, of being free from fear, of being peaceful. Joyce, I think you need to close your microphone. That's it. Thank you. It's nice to hear you sometimes. So may I be able to live my life with joy and ease. You know, because it's always possible. If you look at the lamas, if you look at the Dalai Lama, such a difficult life, only hearing the problems of others most of the time. But look at him, how light he is, how awake, how happy, how at ease, how sababa, when you see him sitting in his chair early morning. And then we look at him and we think, gosh, even with all his responsibilities he has, you know, he's so much at ease. He is so light. May I and all other beings become like him. And then we become aware he has become like this through these methods. How wonderful that I have some faith and trust that these methods will work, and I keep doing it. And then you visualize your goodness at your, you know, the middle of your heart, middle of your upper body, in a form of light. All your quality, all your love, all your skills, all your compassion, love, and wisdom. And you visualize that this light is growing so that it fills the whole body. And as it is with light, it comes out through all the pores, like the sun that sends the light rays spontaneously. You know, the sun is not thinking, oh no, these should not have my light rays. You know, it sends it to everybody, the good people, the bad people, the rich, the poor, the white, the black, the young, the old, the well-instructed ones, totally stupid ones, which doesn't exist anyway. But anyway, to anybody. And so we think I'm sending out this light so that it can bring wisdom. The wisdom, how to be happy. I'm sending out this light in terms of compassion to alleviate the suffering for all beings, to bring support, relief, healing, understanding. May whatever I'm doing with my body, speech, and mind, may it only be of benefit to others. It's just an aspiration, okay? We're just putting the mind in that direction. No need to put ourselves under pressure, but that aspiration, whatever I'm doing with body, speech, and mind, may it only be of benefit to others. In short term, but also especially in long term. Okay, thank you so much. And I wish you a very good week, a safe week. How is it in California, Yael? Do you also have this cold wave, like in Texas?
Oh, here in Davis, it's a beautiful day. But it depends where in California, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, so good weather now.
So this time it's more the south that is getting the cold, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, there is like, you know, they don't have water because all the pipes are frozen and no electricity, and it's like, they're not equipped for cold weather. We also had very cold, like 10, 15 below zero, but we are in Switzerland, we are equipped, yeah. That's fine. We have, you know, the water pipes are not on the outside of the walls, they're inside the walls so that they don't freeze, stuff like that. And now today we had beautiful spring weather. We had about 10 degrees or something like that. Yeah. So we can also dedicate, you know, may all the people who are suffering from this cold, because like also me also, like Tuma Zopa, she has, I think her battery now went, she's gone. It's like I lived in India many, many winters without, you know, 2,000 meters high in Tushita with snow, no electricity, no heater, no nothing. Sometimes not even, you know, being able to make hot water because there was no electricity. It's miserable. Cold is really miserable, this kind of cold, when there's nowhere where you can heat up. So when I see people who are cold, I know how it is, and then the compassion comes. Yeah. So may the ice melt very, very quickly, or at least while it's not melting, may they find warm places where they can warm up. Yeah. Okay. So have a warm week. And you not suffer too much from the cold. And take care.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank you so much, Anila. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to hear you.
Thank you
Bye
very
bye,
much.
Anila. Thank you very, very much.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Yeah, no problem.
Night.